Not everyone has the time or energy to stay on top of constant garden care, and that's completely fine. The great news is some perennials are incredibly easy to maintain and practically look after themselves. In this video, we're diving into 7 easy care perennials that are perfect for lazy gardeners or anyone who wants a beautiful, thriving garden without all the effort. So grab a seat and let's get right into it. Number 1. Hostas. Most people treat hostas like a filler plant, something you shove in a shady corner and forget about. And that right there is actually the secret to why it belongs at the top of this list. Because hostas do not just tolerate being forgotten, they thrive on it. Here is what most gardeners miss about hostas. They are drought tolerant once established. They handle full shade without complaint, which is something almost no other perennial will do for you. And they grow in almost any soil type. But the really underrated thing about hostas? The texture. You have got smooth ones, crinkled ones with edges that glow almost gold in morning light. Some grow to the size of a dinner plate. Others stay compact and delicate. You can build an entire front garden bed using nothing but different hosta varieties, and it will look intentional, designed, and genuinely stunning. Now here is the care tip that matters most. Slugs love hostas. But here is how you handle that without chemicals. Coffee grounds around the base of the plant. Slugs do not like the coarse texture or the caffeine, and your hostas will thank you for it. Plant them once, water them in for the first season, and then just let them do their thing. They will quietly spread, get fuller every year, and make that shady corner of your garden look like it belongs in a magazine. Number 2. Daylilies. Now a lot of people confuse daylilies with regular lilies and think they need special treatment. They do not. Daylilies are a completely different plant, and they are tougher than most people realize. They grow in poor soil. They handle heat. They handle drought. They spread on their own every few years, which means free plants for other spots in your garden. Here is the thing that makes daylilies special though. A single daylily plant will produce dozens of buds over a 3 to 4 week blooming period. Each individual flower only lasts 1 day, which is where the name comes from. But a healthy clump will keep sending up new buds day after day after day. So it looks like it is always in bloom. There is a variety called Stella de Oro, and it is one of the longest blooming daylilies you will find. Small, golden yellow flowers, compact growth habit, and it blooms from late spring all the way through the first frost. That is months of color from one plant that you planted once. The secret care tip that makes a huge difference with daylilies? Deadheading. You do not have to do it, but if you snap off the spent blooms, the plant puts its energy into producing the next round of flowers rather than making seeds. 5 minutes of work in the morning, and your daylilies will reward you with another full round of blooms. Also, every 3 or 4 years, dig the clump up, pull it apart with your hands or a garden fork, and replant the pieces. It sounds like work, but it takes less than 20 minutes, and it is actually what keeps daylilies looking their best and blooming most heavily. Number 3. Black-eyed Susans. Black-eyed Susans, which go by the scientific name Rudbeckia, are native wildflowers across most of North America, which means they evolved here. They are used to the rain patterns, the soil, the insects, the temperature swings. They do not need you to babysit them because they were growing just fine long before garden centers existed. They bloom in late summer and fall, which is exactly when most other perennials are winding down. Those bright golden yellow petals with the dark chocolate center show up in August and September when the garden needs them most. But here is the thing about black-eyed Susans that not everyone talks about. If you leave the seed head standing through winter, you get 2 bonuses. First, birds love those seeds. Goldfinches especially will work through a stand of dried black-eyed Susans all winter long. That is a living bird feeder that costs you nothing. Second, those seeds will naturally fall and self-sow, giving you new plants in spring without you lifting a finger. They do spread over time, which some gardeners worry about. But they pull out easily if they go somewhere you do not want them, and transplanting the extras to a new spot takes about 30 seconds with a trowel. One thing they genuinely need: sun. Give them at least 6 hours of direct sunlight a day, and they will not ask anything else of you. Number 4. Sedum. If you have ever looked at a sedum plant and thought it looked a little like a succulent, you would not be wrong. They store water in their thick, fleshy leaves, which means they can go weeks without rain and still look completely fine. In fact, one of the few ways to actually kill a sedum is to overwater it. There are 2 main types that work brilliantly in a perennial garden. The tall autumn sedums, which grow upright to about 18 to 24 inches, and produce big flat-topped clusters of flowers in late summer and fall. And the low-growing creeping sedums, which hug the ground and are perfect for the front of a border, between stepping stones, or spilling over the edge of a raised bed. The variety called Autumn Joy is the one I recommend most often to anyone over 60 who wants low-maintenance color. It blooms in September and October in shades of dusty pink and rose. It holds its shape through winter. And the dried flower heads are actually quite beautiful even after the color has gone, so there is no rush to cut it back. Here is the care reality for sedum. Plant it in a sunny spot with decent drainage, water it for the first few weeks to help it get settled, and then walk away. It will handle drought, poor soil, heat waves, and cold winters without a single complaint. The only maintenance it truly needs is cutting it back to ground level in early spring, which takes about 2 minutes per plant. Number 5. Coneflowers. Now you may have heard of echinacea before, but probably not in a gardening context. You may have seen it on the shelf at the pharmacy as an immune support supplement. Echinacea tea. Echinacea capsules. Because these plants have been used medicinally for centuries by Native American communities who understood long before modern science did that coneflowers had something special in them. And growing them in your garden connects you to that tradition in a really beautiful way. But beyond the history, coneflowers are just genuinely wonderful perennials. They bloom in summer, typically in shades of purple, pink, orange, white, or yellow depending on the variety. They attract butterflies and bees in numbers that will surprise you. And when the flowers finish, the seed heads that remain bring in goldfinches and other birds all autumn. They are drought-resistant once established. They handle poor soil. They do not need dividing often. And each year the clump gets bigger and more impressive without you doing anything. The one thing worth mentioning: coneflowers do best if you deadhead them through the blooming season to encourage more flowers. But once September arrives, stop cutting. Leave those spiky seed heads standing. They will feed birds through the winter, and they are actually quite striking against frost and snow. Plant them in full sun, give them a slow deep watering once a week for the first summer, and then just enjoy them. These are plants that truly reward patience. Number 6. Creeping phlox. Creeping phlox grows low to the ground, spreading outward like a carpet rather than growing upward. It forms a dense mat of foliage that is evergreen in most climates, meaning it stays green through winter, and gives you something living to look at even when the rest of the garden has gone dormant. And then in spring something extraordinary happens. Literally overnight, that green mat turns completely pink, or purple, or white, or lavender. It just erupts in bloom, completely covering every leaf with small star-shaped flowers. It is one of the most dramatic spring displays in the garden world, and it requires almost no effort from you. The reason creeping phlox belongs on this list specifically for us is the weeding issue. Once a patch of creeping phlox fills in, which takes one full growing season, weeds can no longer get through. The mat is too thick, which means that problem slope or dry patch that used to require regular attention is now essentially self-maintaining. The only care creeping phlox needs is one light shearing after it finishes blooming in late spring. You can use ordinary scissors or garden shears. Cut it back by about 1/3. This keeps it tidy and compact and encourages it to stay dense rather than getting woody and thin in the middle. Plant it in sun to partial shade, water it in for the first season, and then let it take over. That is the exact kind of work this plant was built for. Number 7. Catmint. If you have never grown catmint, here is what to expect. It forms a mounding, slightly sprawling plant covered in tiny lavender blue flowers from late spring through midsummer. The foliage is silvery gray-green and releases a soft, pleasant fragrance when you brush against it. It is one of those plants that makes a garden feel alive in a sensory way, not just a visual one. But here is why catmint is the secret weapon of low-maintenance gardens. It is deer-resistant. It is rabbit-resistant. It is drought-tolerant once established. It does not need rich soil. It does not need frequent dividing. And it never gets serious pest or disease problems. Basically, almost everything that makes gardening difficult simply does not apply to catmint. Bees absolutely love it. During peak bloom, a catmint plant buzzes with activity. And watching that is one of the quiet pleasures of sitting in a garden on a warm afternoon. Here is the trick that doubles your catmint season. After the first flush of blooms fades in June or July, cut the entire plant back by about half. It looks drastic for about a week. And then it pushes out a whole fresh round of foliage and flowers that carries you right through until frost. One simple cut and you essentially get 2 full bloom seasons from one plant. It grows well in sun to light shade, handles heat, handles dry spells, and honestly just makes everything around it look better. It softens edges, fills gaps beautifully, and gives pollinators a reason to stay in your garden all season long. A beautiful garden doesn't mean hours of work every week. With the right perennials, you can create a space that looks full, healthy, and well-designed with little to no effort. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and also tell me which lazy gardener plant you choose for your garden. I'll see you in the next video.